It's national meets regional. Welcome to Sidewalks Entertainment, the long-running celebrity, music, and art series. Join us now for an exciting new path to celebrity interviews, music, rising talents, and much, much more.
Our next guest plays a country music superstar on TV and in real life. Let's welcome back to our show, Mr. Charles Esten. Hello, Charles.
Good to see you again, Sonia.
Good to see you too. Thanks for coming back on our show. We love to have you.
Oh, my pleasure.
So I almost want to say what's new, but first let's ask what's in a name. I read somewhere that people call you Chip Esten. Is that right?
It is. It's always been my nickname. My dad was Chuck. His father was Chuck. We're all Charleses. I'm the third. And so they didn't want to call me Chuck, and I wasn't a Charles at that age, so they started calling me Chip. But Charles has always been my name. From the very beginning, it was in all my credits, except for Whose Line Is It Anyway, because they said my name so often, they just put it as Chip. So, yeah, always been Charles, always been Chip.
Wow. Well, you are so diverse in your skills and abilities. I mean, let's talk about music. You've been dabbling in music for a very long time, haven't you? I mean, even back in your college days.
Yeah, it was my first love. In fact, if you go all the way back, in third grade, I won a contest where I wrote our school song, our elementary school song. You basically had to put new words to a Disney song, and I did It's a Great School After All. And I won that one. So I've been a songwriter from the beginning. Later in college, I was in a band, and I would songwrite for that too. It was only after college that I went out to LA, became an actor. I'd always hoped to put the two together, and finally, all these years later with Nashville, that came to the fruition.
Yeah. Amazing. It's amazing how things come together.
And finally, yeah.
Yeah. So where do you get your inspiration for your music?
I get it all over, actually, and it's great. It's just a great vehicle to get those things out. Sometimes you just think of a line I love country music so much because of the stories you get to tell and because of the there's a lot of clever wordplay, and I've always loved that. Even when I was on Whose Line Is It Anyway, you were trying to improvise a song off the top of your head. It's nice to get a few more minutes than that to sit down and write something. It's hard to say, but I will say one thing. Over these past 6 years, the role of Deacon Claybourne has inspired a lot of my music. You can write music from a happy place. I have this wonderful wife, this wonderful life with my children and everything. But there's something about walking that tough road with Deacon, and it inspired songs that could go to a sort of a deeper, harder place, and I'm grateful for that too.
Amazing. Life imitates art, after all.
It does, yeah.
I had one drink, okay?
You don't think I know what a hangover looks like, young lady? Huh? Maddie, what the hell is the matter with you?
I was just having fun with my friends.
You need to find a new way, or maybe you need to find some new damn friends. How about that?
What are you talking about?
It's dangerous, baby. It's irresponsible. You're not old enough to be drinking.
18.
The drinking age is 21.
I'm an adult.
Not in this house, you're not.
Then maybe I should move out.
I'm sorry for yelling, honey. I am. Baby, if you were anything like me, I don't gotta tell you what it did to my life. Years I lost with your mom. Years I lost with you. If there's even a fraction of a chance that you like me, baby,
I'll be careful.
Promise? Okay.
Okay, well, let's talk about Nashville. I mean, it's been a long road, and it's sort of coming to an end. What was your favorite episode that you can remember of that entire series?
Well, I think I have to be partial to the very first one, the pilot episode. I mean, you always say your first love. Well, for us, that was the episode that we found out that it all worked, that there was this chemistry, that there was this magic, that there was this thing where all these different actors came together with the writing of Callie Curry, the directing of R.J. Cutler, and the music. There was so much that I saw on the page, but there's so much that I never could have imagined that came quickly to be a parent. And I was like, man, this is something special. So there's been great episodes since then, ones that I truly, truly love, and scenes and songs. But I always go back to that one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, you know, our fans of our show, they love you. They know so much about you. What is one thing that you think most people don't know about you, Charles Esten?
Gosh, I feel like I'm a fairly open book on social media and everything.
Yeah.
I think, man, you sort of flummoxed me. I would say, I guess I know a lot of people know from Pittsburgh that some don't know, and many do, but some don't know that my wife and I have a daughter, our youngest daughter, Addie, who a number of years ago was sick with leukemia and went through chemotherapy for a couple of years. She is now, she's on my mind right now because she's graduating from high school and she's about to go off to college, and she is happy and she is healthy. She's the reason for our commitment to the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. I saw my daughter Addie just the other day play her last soccer game here in Tennessee before she goes off to play at college, and I was reminded again of how blessed we are and what an incredible young woman she is. So she's the one that comes to mind right now, the special, that hard road that she went through and we were alongside her for.
Wow, that's a remarkable story. Well, I'm so happy that she's better.
Yeah.
And I know you've got other kids as well. Do you ever talk to your kids about getting into show business? I mean, especially with your diverse background, you've dabbled in just about everything. So,
well, my oldest daughter, daughter's always been a singer-songwriter for years and years.
Yeah.
And she grew up, I never forced music on my kids, but there was always a piano there, guitars. I tried to have all the instruments that they would hear Dad playing, and they would go in there and play themselves. And they're all great. They can all play and sing. My oldest, Taylor, is a singer-songwriter. She's an artist right here in Nashville. She went to Belmont here in Nashville University, which is a great place to get in the background for that. And it's thrilling for me to watch her going out on her own. She does it on her own, too. She doesn't pull my name into it. She doesn't pull any of my whatever connections I might have in it. She's doing it in her own way, and I'm so proud of her. I'm such a fan of her. And I think any lesson that I would tell her, she's been able to see over the years that I've been an actor and a singer myself. So she sort of seemed to have imbibed them along the way, and she's doing it in a way that's far more intentional and organized and well done than I ever could have.
Amazing. Well, I know you've got a lot of experience to draw from. You're actually on tour yourself now.
Well, we just finished the Nashville tour not too long ago. That's another place where what other show gets to end in that way? Usually when you finish a show, you're done and you just all sort of walk away. Claybourne and I and Jonathan Jackson, Chris Carmack and Sam Palladio, we got to go on tour. We flew to the UK and Ireland, and we did shows at the O2 Arena and in Glasgow and Dublin and Belfast and Wales, and that was an incredible way to say goodbye to those fans from across the sea, and that's unusual and rare. And now another thing that's unusual and rare is normally when you say goodbye to a character, that's pretty much it. Me, I get to strap on that guitar sometimes and sing those songs, and just for a little bit touch on what it was to be Deacon. I'll be doing that here this right. This Friday night I'm doing 2 shows at the Franklin Theater here in Nashville called Deacon at the Franklin, and it's me singing the songs of Deacon Claybourne along with Colin Linden, who played Deacon's guitar for most of those things. So I don't have to say goodbye all the way, and I'm glad for that.
Well, hey, you never know. I mean, all of these revamps that are coming back on the air. Would you revisit playing a character like Deacon in the future, or are there any other characters through the years that you would want to revisit?
Well, I tell you what, in terms of Deacon, I was real happy the way we ended the show. We have 8 episodes left. We start back up again on June 7th at 9 p.m. Eastern, and we go all the way to July 26th, 8 episodes. Those 8 episodes really brought a lot of closure in terms of Deacon's character, his arc, his storylines, his relationship with the family and music. So in a way, I felt like it was an apt and appropriate ending. So it would have to be, and I can't even imagine it, and certainly no time soon, but somebody would have to show me a reason for it, not just in terms of that we enjoyed it and we love it and there's great music, but a reason in terms of Deacon's character and where it needed to go and something else he might go through. For now, I couldn't be more happy with the way we drew this story arc to a close and this life to a close. He means a lot to me, and I wanted him to end right.
Yes, of course. They're very well said.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. So I know you've been doing comedy for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something we expect to see again coming down the pipe for you? Are you going on the road after your
Well,
music tour?
I have done touring before with my Whose Line Is It Anyway friends. It's possible I could get out there with some dates for them. What I've always been very grateful is I get to dabble in all these things. Not many people get to do that kind of improv comedy fun and then go get to do a tear-jerking drama the way that Nashville could be, and then go get to do concerts the way I get to. My cup runs over. So more than anything, I'm as excited as ever to see what's next. I don't know what it is. I keep being surprised and thrilled. So I look optimistically to the future, and while I wait for whatever that role is, I get to make music. So life is good.
Amazing. And so through all of your touring, your traveling, what would you say is your favorite city that you've ever visited and toured in?
Well, I think more than anything, what I love about this country is the variety that
Yes.
you get to go to so many. You get to go to a place like San Francisco, which is utterly singular. There's not like another San Francisco, so you get a taste of it. And that's why I like the touring life. Some people, they don't like all the flights and going around. But then like just recently, I was up back in my hometown around Washington, D.C., and from Alexandria, Virginia. I just got to participate in the National Memorial Day concert that Gary Sinise and Joe Mantegna hosted. I love going back to my hometown and seeing all the sights of D.C., especially in a way like that. I got family down in Florida. Of course, we lived in L.A. for the longest time. And I think I always love getting to go back to the place I started out with, which is Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So it's the variety, and that's what's great about Nashville. That's why musicians tour out of Nashville, right there in the middle. So you get to go out and reach all of them. And I hope whatever I do, it lets me keep doing that. I love to travel.
Fantastic. Well, again, you're so diverse in your career. You're multi-talented. You're fearless, obviously, in your approach to whatever comes down your way for your work. What do you do for fun? Is there anything that you do when you're not working?
Well, first of all, it's kind of you to say fearless. That's one of the things that I've intentionally, as an actor, you intentionally have to deal with that, and especially in things like when you do improv, or in this has opened up other roles for me, like standing on stage at the Grand Ole Opry, and you can feel fear in those moments. So it's you try to be fearless, but more than anything, you sort of just. I've often used fear as the sort of a compass. Like if it's hard and difficult and scary, a lot of times that means that's the thing to do. So it's not fearless as much. It's almost drawn to that thing that makes you a little nervous. And I like using that as a way to move on. But what do I do at Downtime? This Nashville thing has meant that it's a strange combination where there isn't a lot of downtime, but I love the uptime so much that that's not a problem. My downtime for me is just on the back porch. We got a big old swing back there. It was one of the first things I saw about that house. I have a dog. He's the dog from the show. Deacon got a little puppy in season 1 or 2. He's a 5-year-old lab now. And so it's just me, the dog, the family, just hanging out. It's pretty low key, but in the best possible way.
That's amazing. Well, I can imagine how different it must be, all of the different environments, working on stage, working on set. What do you love the most about working on stage and working on set? What are the differences?
I think on the sets with the camera, it's about the getting it right. You have the time to try to get that moment right, and it's the collaborative part of that, where you're dealing with something somebody else wrote. There's a director telling you, suggesting ways to say it and trying to bring it to a better place. There's the crew doing all their business. So it's a whole bunch of people coming together and making a moment that you're trying to capture through a lens. And that's very, it's hard work, and when you get it right, you're not even sure you got it right until you see it later. That's nice, and I like that. But it's also great to have this other thing that is more immediate and less thought out and planned, the improvisational moments of not just of comedy, but of music, where it's you and an audience, in this dance of energy, and you get, I can tend to be an immediate gratification guy, and that's what live performance offers. And it's also a really great test because, especially in comedy, you say something, it gets a laugh or it doesn't. You play something, it gets a response or it doesn't. So it makes you finally tuned to sort of trying to lift and entertain and move in that live moment. So I love getting to be part of both of those worlds.
Amazing. So for all of your fans on our show and all of your fans who watch Nashville, what would you like to say is your final?
Well, that's an easy one. It's a thank you. It's pure gratitude. We know how it is in this business that you hope to find a fan base, and there have definitely been shows that have broader fan bases, just are more well-known and more widely known and more bang-on smash broad hits. I don't know of any that are deeper. And we have the breadth, but we also have this depth of feeling where there's something about this show that just, as I said before, it can put a hook in you and it can hang on. And the people that tended to get on this Nashville train, it looks like they're going to ride it all the way to the last station. And so I can't say anything but thank you. You're why we got 6 seasons. You're why I got to play this guy. Everything that's opened up to me because of this is because of the fans of Nashville, and I appreciate it.
Excellent. And we appreciate you, Mr. Esten. Thank you so much for being on our show today. And we wish you all the best. We look forward to seeing more of you.
I appreciate it. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
For more full-length celebrity interviews, visit sidewalkstv.com.